our next guest is an award-winning CEO and editor-in-chief of Bella Magazine. In 2019, she transformed the publication by launching Bella Media & Co., a dynamic multimedia company where she drives digital and editorial content with offices in New York, Hollywood, California, Miami, Florida, and New Jersey. And as a pioneer in her field, Vanessa co-founded ETT Women and the ETT Women Foundation, focusing on empowering female survivors of domestic violence and sexual assault. Her passion also extends to business consultancy dedicated to uplifting communities. Everyone, please welcome CEO and editor-in-chief of Bella Magazine, Vanessa Capis.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for finding the time to get here. I have to say it like that with such emphasis because you are one busy woman.
We all are, but thank you for having me, of course.
Yeah, no, seriously, I mean that. I'm so glad that we were able to make this happen.
Thank you.
I know you travel extensively, and to get you on in here in studio, it means a lot to me. Thank you for making that happen.
Thank you.
And your story is so inspirational that I had to have you on. I had to share your story with our viewers, right? So I met you at the Inspírame Latina conference, and you shared some personal insight as to how you got to where you are. And your story is quite remarkable.
Thank you.
And how you even got to be to this stage of your life, because this wasn't even necessarily the direction you were headed in.
No, I used to be a teacher.
I know.
Elementary school teacher, yes, I know. Which is shocking.
Let's share with everybody your story. From Dominican Republic, teaching, coming, because it's so fascinating.
Thank you. I think it's definitely an immigrant journey. You know, you come here. I didn't know that was my end game. I'm originally from the Dominican Republic. Went to school for education, taught for many years in the Dominican Republic, and then I met my husband online, and decided to move to the States. And when I made the move, I attempted to teach, but really in my heart, I knew that was not where my place was. I've been a writer since I was a very young girl, journaling, sharing other people's stories, but I always knew that I wanted more and I wanted to do more. And I could always see myself at the age of 13 typing away for a fashion publication. I didn't know what that would be, but lo and behold, here we are. You know, almost 20 years later, I am now the owner of the magazine that I used to work for. So. Yeah.
Yeah, I know, but that was a real summed up version.
That was a
That was a
well,
really
we're on TV. I don't know if we have that kind of time.
But the thing about it is like when something is meant for you, it's meant for you, right?
Yes.
And so I read, like I did my research on you, and I read how you were so excited to be featured in this magazine first before you even started working for it.
And that's what I think that we hear a lot about the word serendipity or everything happens for a reason. It's really remarkable to see how things have come full circle because yes, I used to have a jewelry, that was like my first business, was a custom jewelry business, and it was featured in the magazine, which is how I connected to the previous owners, and then that started a relationship that eventually I became the marketing director for the publication. And when they decided to sell it in 2019, I was like, well, I've been doing this for so long. I knew the ins and outs. I did every type of job, every scope of it. But I also wanted a Spanish version because, of course, as Latinas, I felt like our community needed it and wanted it. And I knew that I had to do it, if just to do it and say, at least I tried. And
here we are.
And here we are.
We're offices now in New York, in Miami, and so.
And everybody thought I was crazy, and everybody thought I was insane because we briefly talked earlier about, we're still in print, which is not something that many publications are still. There's very few contenders left, but I will do it until I can't do it anymore.
Right, until there's no demand for
no paper. Right. Until there's no more paper.
Right. Okay. Got you. But let's talk about that, and let's talk about the I guess the importance of having that as an option, right?
Yeah.
Because you are digitized as well.
We are. We can be found both in the digital space and in print. But as an educator, I can tell you this: reading comprehension starts with actually physically touching touching pages of a book. I think we can all attest to doom scrolling. You know, we've been, and there's a thing that is called digital fatigue, because you've been on a screen so much. So how do you counter that is by actually physically touching paper, writing, putting pen to paper. Children are actually, their cognitive skills are developed by actually forming letters on paper, and that's how they develop their fine motor skills. So we've lost it to an extent, and there's a lot of us out there that are still trying to preserve, the back to basics. This is how we actually learn to communicate, is to actually write words on paper. So, I think that's the educator in me that continues to, fight this fight, because when the publication comes together, it's an art form, it's a book, it's an art form from start to finish, and it's something that we love to share, because there's a whole host of people, there's a village behind it. As you know, you have a whole crew behind the scenes here. The same thing happens with every issue, it's kind of like our gift, right, to everyone to see what we've accomplished. So
all right, and now I'm going to piggyback off of that and add the spiritual component to it.
Of course.
Because everything you're saying is so valid, and I think it's so important that we have these conversations. Because I tell my daughter all the time, she writes music and she writes songs, right? And I tell her, it's not the same as typing it as it is writing it, because when you write it, you're releasing it from your body, and you're actually communicating it to your higher power, universe, whatever your belief systems are, and that is the declaration that you put out into the universe.
And when it's written on paper, you can feel it physically, physiologically. You can feel like that release. So I 100% back that up. So keep writing, people.
Yes.
We're not, it's not going anywhere still. For sure.
And keep writing from your thoughts, not from
ChatGTP or
I was going to say
whatever,
like,
Gemini, whatever.
But the idea is that we are moving into this digital age, of this AI age, right? Of just simplifying our lives, and that's the issue. I
had this conversation with my son just 2 days ago. He said, is your magazine written by AI? And I said, absolutely not. Like, I have a team of people. I have over 60 writers. So it's very important that we continue to preserve the act of actually interviewing people, having conversations, and then putting them to paper. So we're still in that fight, so we're not going away.
And I love that you're sharing it here on air, because we operate intergenerationally, obviously. And I'm not saying this is the right way or the wrong way, but what I do know is exactly what we're sharing is really important for us to digest as human beings. As human beings, right? So how do we continue enhancing ourselves, our connection, and our abilities? Because
and our brain, like it's necessary for brain development to continue to do actual physical writing and reading. It is not the same. It's just not.
Okay, salió la maestra.
It came out. It will always come out. Yes, the teacher in me will always come out. You should ask my team in my office. They're like, okay, here she comes again with the lessons and the finger, because the finger, the finger's like a culture thing. Like, it's just,
Don't personalize it, right? Don't personalize it. I'm just emphasizing.
Yeah, exactly.
It's my exclamation.
Exactly.
So this is wonderful. I mean, I can speak philosophy all day long, even though everything that we're discussing is so valid, and unfortunately, it's a topic of discussion that people are leaning towards the other side of the convenience.
Well, it's cheaper and faster,
right?
And we have gotten used to, instant gratification. However, I'm in for the long game, and I think that we all know at the end of the day, slow and steady always wins the race. It's something that I've honed into my company culture. We are not after the it person or the it brand. Like, that's not what we pursue. Every other publication is after that, and they're doing that, and that's great. But what has made us different and allowed us to stay relevant is that we continue to be that source of, okay, this is going to be a really great story or a really great interview. We are not about the gossip, the drama. It's really about impact. So that's
no
very important for us.
sensationalizing. It's really about upholding the integrity, right? I know recently you just did a cover with Tiffany Haddish.
I did.
Oh, how fun was that?
It was surreal, to be honest with you. Tiffany Haddish is literally the girlfriend you never thought you needed, wanted, but can never get enough of. She is the most authentic person. And listen, I've met a lot of celebrities over the years, but what you see is literally what you get and then some. She is just an incredible person, and I'm happy that I can now actually call her a friend. So
that's beautiful.
Yeah, it's a beautiful relationship.
So just how did you choose her? Like how do you choose your covers?
We choose our covers based on our themes per issue. So one of the things that actually made Tiffany very relevant is after reading her books, the topic of beauty for her was something that was consistent throughout her life, that she never felt beautiful and she didn't see herself as a beautiful person, and it took her, a while to kind of come into her own. And she's very vocal about helping young women even through her nonprofit, the She Ready nonprofit, the She Ready Foundation, that she encourages young people to just step into their own and step into their power and, give them opportunities to tap into that. And I was like, well, let's flip the switch, because people know you as a comedian and people think that that's it. Like, right, you're funny and that's it. But she is actually quite stunning, even more so in person. So she was our beauty issue cover star. And we went into all of that conversation in her interview, but it's thematic. We put out 12 issues per year, so every issue is dedicated to something different. That's how we pick them. And depending on not who's buzzworthy, but who is deserving, right? Or who's willing to have a profound conversation. That's really, at the end of the day, what we're after. So
that's beautiful. You're able to capture that other side that wouldn't necessarily be a headline.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
And that's a wonderful lead into ETT Women, which is your foundation.
Yes. So I started at ETT Women with Lynette Barbieri. We started this about 13 years ago. Wow. 13 years ago. And it was a way to connect. Originally, it started as a way to connect moms who were starting businesses. You could actually bring your baby with you to one of our networking meetings, and there would be someone in an adjacent room watching them. Because, girl, when these babies are little, you are speaking baby language, and you need some adult time. So we've all needed some adulting, and just talk about something other than diapers. And that's how it started. And we began really creating these incredible relationships with women throughout the years. And we noticed that there was a gap and a void in the space, because we had women coming to us asking for resources. I'm trying to either find employment or start a business or get legal advice or separate from an abusive spouse or, find some support, etc. So we created the ETT Women Foundation,
which stands for
Entrepreneurial Think Tank for Women, as an opportunity to bridge both of those worlds. We had women who were either just starting or were just, tenured in their businesses, but who also wanted to do good through the work that they're doing. So one kind of feeds the other, and we have rescued women from really terrible situations. We've been able to pay medical bills. We've been able to pay utility bills for women. So it's a really incredible opportunity to do great work through a network of fabulous women who are just looking to help each other.
Amazing. Yeah. I love it. And so if somebody were interested in either volunteering or may even need assistance or interested in attending, like, do you have workshops?
So we actually partnered with Building a Boss Summit for our 2026 conference called The Power of Connections. It's coming to New York next year, but you can find information about the organization at ettwomen.org and just find us, or you can hit us up on social media, because either Lynette or myself will respond. We're very involved and we're very engaged with our community through that. So.
Yeah, it's important for us to recognize that there's safe spaces out there
100%.
To help us move forward. Now, before we go, because they're wrapping us up, I want to make sure we talk about the Shorechella. Shorechella.
I know.
I love the name.
So the name actually came to me because we were having a Coachella conversation in the office. I've never been to Coachella, believe it or not. That's the one thing I've never been to. And many of the people in the office had not been to either. And I'm like, so why don't we create Shoreshella? Like, it's the Jersey Shore, and it's 15 minutes from home. Like, how perfect can we make this happen? And Margaret Josephs from The Real Housewives of New Jersey is our host. It's literally what you would think of Coachella, but it's happening in Long Branch, New Jersey. And it's going to be so much fun.
And it's going to be in July?
July 15th. It's actually on my birthday.
Nice.
So
it's
it's
your
my
birthday as
birthday
well.
celebration, and it's a 70s and 80s vibe. And we're going to have like live music, a DJ, fun activations. Margaret will be there as our special guest, and some shopping, some fun, all the things for my birthday.
Fun. Well, we thank you for bringing it here. And
Thank
you
you.
for sharing and for just doing all the work that you're doing to leave things better than we found them.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for bringing it here and sharing it with our viewers, Vanessa.
Thank you.
Ay, Dios mío. Yes, I love it. I love it. The good energy. That's it. We bringing the good juju to you. All right. Once again, CEO and editor-in-chief of Bella Magazine, Vanessa Kapis. And for more information on everything we just discussed, you can visit bellamedia.co. All right. Stay tuned. There's more open after the break.